Yo guys, Theo here on Common Sense. Today I'm gonna tell you my top 10 muscle building hacks. But first let me tell you about my day. I went up, I responded to you guys' comments and direct messages and emails and that. I responded to my clients, I responded to my friends, I had a Greek lesson, I went shopping, I was training, I had client calls, I had my physical client, and I've eaten breakfast after I bought the food, and now I'm here around lunchtime to record this video for you guys. It's gonna take a lot of effort, guys. You see, my days are packed, and I want to put in high effort into my videos with you guys. Like, for instance, I'd love to, in a video like this, to have training clips running, but it takes too much time. I don't have the time or any resources, like to hire someone to do it, to have a better computer that doesn't process the videos for hours and all that. So I'm just letting you know again, guys, I would very much appreciate your support. May that be by liking and commenting and chatting on the live streams, just to get more traffic, help the algorithm, help more people see it, or if you want to support me on the Patreon as a monthly subscriber there, or drop by my live streams that I have many times per week to support me with a super chat. It's the reminder I want to bring you. Let's get into my top 10 muscle building hacks. So these 10, some of them are gonna, they can be explained. There are some things that can be clarified immediately here. Some I'll try to keep brief, because otherwise they could basically be their own video, right? So you're gonna have to tell me in the comments which one would you like me to dive deeper into. So we start them. I've kind of, in a sense, they are kind of in order, like, let's say it like this, they are not strictly like one is more important than the other, but overall, you should see what I talk about at the start. Like, the first one is definitely the most important one, and the last one is definitely the least important. In between, they could vary a bit. But so, the first hack is just proper training, programming, and practice. So what that means is you have to understand well enough that the training precedes everything, all right? It doesn't matter how great your diet is and your recovery, your sleep, what supplements you would take or anything like that. If you're not training to begin with, it's the proper training practice that keeps giving your body the stimulus to build muscle, right? So that always precedes everything. Then it's all the other things that come on top of that. It's like it's the seed that gets planted with a proper training, programming and practice of it, and then you water it by keeping all the other stuff on point. So the second one is a proper diet then, because you can build muscle on a suboptimal diet. It depends always on how advanced you are and all of your current body compositions and all of that. But it's a hack. We're talking about hacks, right? And the more you just nail down your diet, the better your nutrient partitioning will be, meaning that your body just uses what you eat more productively, builds more muscle and stores less as fat. That's why now, for instance, when I've finally started being able to gain weight, I have such high metabolism, but it's not that I see that I lose much definition, but I see the number on the scale going up, right? Because I stay very active with my diet, right? And staying active, we're gonna come to that too. Or I guess that's for another video actually. But staying active, I might as well mention it now. When we're talking about staying lean, of course, staying active, eating a lot, but also moving a lot. That helps with building muscle and staying lean. Your nutrient partitioning, right? So manipulating the nutrient partitioning by, I guess, moving and eating a good diet. Like, let's put it like this. If I kept training like I do now, clone me, I train and eat like I do now, I make gains, and then we take a version of me that trains the same way, but eats donuts only, no protein or anything, well, he'd gain as much weight as I do, but only fat, because he's, and even lose muscle, because of the diet. So you see, these are extreme examples, me being extremely on point and the other one being completely off point, but you see the point, right? The more you nail down your diet, the better muscle building results you're gonna get. Sunlight is number 3. It might be, people think you exaggerate the benefits of the sun, but there's a reason I show so much skin in the videos, guys, that I'm out here naked recording the videos for you guys when I can. It's because just the sun, you can see it as a part of your diet that you can't get from anywhere else. Some things, vitamin D that we take, for example, that I'll come to later, but it's from the sun, really, and even when you take the supplement, it can't really be activated and used properly in your body until you get sunlight. And it's especially the sunlight in the middle of the day that's responsible for, well, a lot of things, but the things I try to teach you guys is dopamine and testosterone, two hormones that are very interconnected like that. Like for women, it's a little bit, I don't know the hormone profile, but you know, basically the benefits will be the same as the women, only that I don't really know to talk which hormones. It might be something about progesterone focus more for women, for instance. Don't listen to me, I don't know what I'm talking about. But the testosterone and dopamine we get from the sun, it's the sun in the strongest with the ultraviolet light. So of course, you have to be smart. If you've been inside all the time and you eat a shit diet, you're going to be very sensitive to the sun. But as you remove seed oils and eat a lot of saturated fat, animal protein and fats, and you just increase exposure gradually, you're going to be able to tolerate more. And with the sun, it's basically the more you can get without getting burnt. Actually, getting burned is the bad part, but you can do other stuff than use toxic sunscreen. That is a complete scam and a lie that you should use, and use the natural means of just being able to tolerate more sun. It's the best thing you can do. And you want to get the morning sun in too, just to set your circadian rhythm, because sleep, that we're going to come to, there's the next one, is highly affected by, you know, your interaction with the sun. The morning sun, very important to set your circadian clock. Your body knows what time of the day it is, and it primes your skin for this stronger violet light. The red light from the morning primes you for the ultraviolet light later in the day, where we get the dopamine and testosterone. Our drive and our literal muscle building, like our drive to want to train and enjoy it and feel happy and good about ourselves and our process, and the ability to actually get better results from it. So then sleep is the last one. All of these first ones are a waste. Training, eating well, and getting sunlight is a waste if you don't sleep. That's when you just, you know, all of these are seeds that you've planted for when you sleep. It's like you die for the day and you give birth to the next you tomorrow. And so if you never die, if you never go to sleep, those things, they never come into fruition. They you know, if anything, you just wear yourself down. So sleep, very important. It's extremely important, you guys. It's going to vary between individuals how much you need to sleep, but you know, between 6 to 10 hours for most people. You know, it can vary a lot, and think of it as an average we're talking about now. Probably 6 is too little average for most people. 10 is probably more than most people need. So 7, 8 hours is going to be great for a lot of people, but not listen to the number. It's always thrown around. Listen to what your body tells you. But going to sleep before midnight, I mean, me myself, I go quite early to sleep, between 8 to 9, sleep for 6 to 8 hours most of the time. But yeah, if you go to sleep at least a couple hours before midnight, you can see it as, that's what sleep scientists and Stan Efferding, that I've learned a lot from regarding diet and fitness and health. You can see the 2 hours there before midnight as they are worth equally as much. So if you sleep 6 hours but you fell asleep there, it's like you slept 8 hours at a later time. So sleep, extremely important. For the more you sleep, the better you're going to recover, the better gains you get, the better your nutrient partitioning in again, because your cortisol doesn't get too high and you don't store everything as fat. You build as much muscle as possible. So the next one, I put it specifically for this channel, I put intermittent fasting, but I kind of mean fasting all over. And let me tell you, in many studies, they're going to say that it's no difference with intermittent fasting or worse for building muscle. But you got to understand, that's for like some random test population. When you've done it like me, that biohacked and optimized everything, I think with the fasting, I've just experienced this. So let's see this one as a theory, you know. But I think that I've done all of this so long term that I'm just very insulin sensitive. My insulin sensitivity is just on point, and I even think that especially the longer fasts, we are not only talking about insulin. I think even the other hormones, you know, IGF-1, mTOR pathways, you know, I think you're more sensitive to this, even to protein, when you do a several day long fast. It's just that of course you don't build muscle right in a moment when you fast, but so I think fasting as a long-term strategy for a natural bodybuilder that doesn't have unnaturally elevated protein synthesis from steroids or anything, I just think it can be, when you're on point with stuff, it can be that. But I want to say too that I'm very much not a fasting zealot. It's food quality, and that is going to matter most. So for someone that's a hard gainer, for instance, just naturally high metabolism tends more to get skinny than you know, too fat when they're not very physically active and have a health regimen like that, you might definitely not benefit from fasting. So it's something I want to bring up because it's a big one on this channel, but I don't think it's for everyone in regards to building muscle. Okay, yeah, number 6 is heavy stuff outside of training. This is something I want to get into people's head. People view it so much as the program and the training that needs to be done. And especially when you want to get really strong at some specific things, like compound exercises, deadlift, squats, weighted chin-ups, bench press, whatever it might be, or you want to just get a very jacked physique. Yeah, it's going to be difficult to just do random physical activity, but as a icing, like seasoning on the whole plate here of the program that you do, the more just, think of it this way. My arms, I don't know how well you could see it on the video, but my biceps, like everything on the right side is bigger, really. And it's not because I've in my entire life just done heavy lifting, just done one arm dumbbell presses or something. It's because I've just used my right arm more. So it has built more muscle from all of this. So if you just see this at, never mind the left-right thing, that this little, just doing something over and over, that physical, will create some kind of results too. So just think of it. When I go shopping, for instance, I love it when I go with 2 heavy bags, say, I remember one time recently, 7-8 kilos in each hand, like a farmer's carry. It's my core, it's my traps and my shoulders really well, all of this, you shouldn't see it as, I think you do it because you're a savage. You love having a capable body. The more you use your body to just move heavy stuff, even when it isn't all structured or organized and necessarily even close to failure or anything like that, anything you can think of. I love the opportunity, like, oh, my dad needs help carrying something, perfect, it's exercise for both him and me, and we're doing this chore at the same time. It's like perfect. So I think I made a point there. But then I put mobility just because it goes into proper training, programming and practice really. But I want to make the point that I've noticed since I took on more mobility training and now have it in my whole training philosophy. Maybe if you want a video when I actually talk about what Uncommon Sense Fitness is, what my training philosophy and the goals I hope to achieve with it is, please tell me in the comments if you want that. But mobility. So when I want to tell you why that's good, like it can both be that when you address mobility, weaknesses in yourself like that, you will just get access to use the strength you have in a better way. You understand, if you were limited by your mobility, you had to be in a position that's weaker for you, but you improve your mobility without necessarily putting on muscle mass. You get stronger because of that, and because you can get stronger, move more weight, you can build more muscle. And when you think of it, if you can have a longer range of motion, it's pretty well established in the literature that it's not that you only have to do full range of motion, but basically that longer range of motion is superior for hypertrophy. So the better your mobility, the better range of motion you have, the better your potential to build muscle should be. And in my anecdotal experience with myself, it's definitely true. So yeah, this is again, people tend to be a little like this when okay, bodybuilding, I need to eat, I need to bulk, I need to go to the gym and lift heavy, 5 sets of 5 or whatever. And like, yeah, all of that, but you can think about so many more. It's holistic, the process, always. Okay, 8, I put just growth mindset. And okay, so progressive overload is number 9, I'll say. They go into each other. But so let's start with progressive overload, actually. That's just understanding that, as long as you do more, overload what you're doing, just do more. Increase the effort, the total work you do somehow. You are making progress and you are making gains. You are building muscle. So it's not that, because one workout I could do, I don't know, a bench press 100 kilos for 5 reps, and the next time I could do 6 reps. It's not something I'm gonna see necessarily, but then I know I built muscle, because it's impossible otherwise that I can do more, right? So as long as you know that progressive overload keeps happening, you know that you're making gains. And it can be, this is what I tie it together with the growth mindset. The most straightforward way of progressive overload is, of course, adding weight to the bar, taking heavier dumbbells, doing more reps with the same weight. Like, yes, and that's going to be a big part of your progressive overload. But if you just understand, if I get better squat mobility again, I can go deeper and do the same amount of weight and reps. I now have progressively overloaded because I do the same weight and reps for a longer range of motion. The total amount of work is more. You understand? So when you have this growth mindset, this higher value that I want to make progress, I accept nothing else. I make sure that progressive overload happens with my growth mindset. I'm always, in one way or another, I'm always doing more. And yeah, that's it. Okay, so the last one, I guess, because there are other things that come up. But let's say it like this: supplements. I put supplements as 10 because people are going to ask me about supplements. I would lie if I said I don't take any supplements, but I tend to not talk about it a lot because I am something of a biohacker myself. But I know that it's max 1% of the whole process, if even that. So it's not what people need to focus on. So it's not a secret that I take supplements, but that's why I tend to not focus on it so much. But I'll tell you here. So the ones I would recommend is creatine. It's just the best natural supplement. It's something that we store naturally in our body. We get it from red meat mostly, but even tuna, for instance, is a great source of creatine. But this is where the biohacking comes in. When we can get something that is natural, but we can get a higher dose than we'd be able to otherwise, right? So for me, from what I've seen about the science now, they tend to underdose a lot of supplements just because they get away with selling less to you for more money then, right? Because people don't really know, because some supplements, an effective dose could be 10 milligrams, and another one you need several grams, which may be hundreds or 1,000 times more in just volume. So people don't know, but the dose seems to be like 5 grams at least you want per day. That's just the average lifter. A guy like me that trains so much and stays so active might even need up to 10 grams. So 5 to 10 grams per day, I'd say. Then boron. This is possible to get from diet, and mostly I tend to not supplement with stuff that I think it's better to get from diet. Like some that would be important, for instance, is like zinc, but I eat so much meat and eggs, and that I think it's kind of impossible that I don't get. So if you eat a lot of, I think it's avocados and dates and stuff, maybe you don't need boron, but I think in my diet I just have a little hard time getting it in with food often enough, at least. So boron, I take 9 milligrams. What it does is it can lower SHBG, sex hormone binding globulin, which if you have a lot of total testosterone, that's not going to benefit you if it's all bound up by SHBG. It's when it gets free released. That's what really matters. That's your effective testosterone. Boron can help drive the SHBG down, so you just have more free testosterone. And again, this is one that actually works in my experience. So I do recommend it. Then we have vitamin D3 and K2. Vitamin D you obviously get from the sun, and you will need to get the sun even when you take the vitamin supplement, but it's again this kind of biohack. I've noticed when I did blood work that I'm in the reference range for vitamin D, but quite low, even though I spend so much time out in the sun. So I'm thinking, why not give it a little boost? So I'm just higher up on it. Yeah, so I take vitamin D3, 5,000 IUs, plus K2, that I'm not really sure of the amount in this particular one. If you eat a lot of dairy, you're probably not going to need that, but K2 is necessary also for the D3 to be synthesized in the body, so yeah. Then I put some honorable mentions, like citrulline. It's the best pump agent, just to get better blood flow and experience the pump, and maybe slightly better mind-muscle connection in the gym. So it doesn't directly fuel muscle gains, but if it makes you, perform better because you feel better in the gym, it might, 10 grams is the max effective dose, but that's pure citrulline, I want to tell you. A lot of these, they sell citrulline malate without telling you that the malate part is really just something called malic acid, which has a beneficial effect too as a pre-workout agent. It's just that it's not citrulline, and the max dose of citrulline is still 10 grams. And sometimes they brag about, oh look, 5,000 milligrams of citrulline malate. So it's like, okay, so it's less than half than the best dose of citrulline is what you're saying, Then actually caffeine, I gotta put here, it is, there's a balance with caffeine. Never get addicted to it, never rely on it too much. I've definitely overdone it. I recently lowered my consumption. I couldn't say a milligram amount because, I drink espressos and stuff. I'm not sure, quite sure, But either way, the caffeine, definitely just one of the best performance enhancers. Gives you energy. You should never rely on it because you haven't slept or something, like that. It always is like that. But if you, for instance, slept bad on one day and you decide on that day you take it for the workout to be worth it, definitely worth it like that. Then I'm actually gonna mention nicotine because I'm doing the snooze too, so nicotine pouches. But I'm finally cutting down, you guys. I'm never gonna quit permanently, but I'm gonna cut down my consumption. I have already cut it down by 60% or so. When I get it down to 90. If I use 1 to 3 of these per day, I'm happy. And right now it's maybe 8 to 10. I'm not sure. There's something around there. But nicotine actually acts as a mild aromatase inhibitor, and I can't really give you a long scientific explanation for that. But basically, it can actually be a slight testo boost like that. So yes, and so look, an honorable mention too. That's in really proper diet and supplements in a sense, but. it's just a calorie surplus. The thing is, proper diet, that means that for some people they need to be in a calorie surplus. Like I almost kind of have to bulk, eat more, put in more than I spend in my body. But if you're more of a noob and you have more body fat, it's not necessarily that you have to be in a calorie surplus to put it on muscle, but your body, it notices, it kind of always determines what kind of situation. Are we starving? Do we want to hold on, keep the metabolism lower and not grow, focus on just holding on to what we have and maybe repair some stuff? Or are we in a situation of abundance when we don't only recover and repair, we actually grow and build new stuff like muscle? So it's just easier for the body when it notices from several days of being in a calorie surplus that you have enough resources to actually build new tissue, not just try to hold on or repair the one you already have. So that would be my honorable mention. But yeah, guys, those are my top 10 natural muscle building hacks. Of course, what you gotta understand, this is not a training program. This is not your life process or anything. These are just tools that I want you to think of when you opt your life process, your program, the one you're on. And so I actually have top 10 natural cutting hacks too. But you guys are definitely gonna have to comment. Like, I want to see at least 50 comments on this video before I put that video out. That can be in response that you keep talking to me in the comment that you did, because I always respond, But please ask more questions about this. Please tell me more. I'm gonna do more training content, you guys, definitely. But you need to tell me more. We have the Solar Night Apprentice, the novice program now. We have the muscle building hacks that aren't really hacks. It's just optimizations that I do personally and with my clients too, of course. But so please comment, guys. Please comment anyway. All comments and likes help support the channel. We need more people to see it. It's finally happening, guys. It's starting to blow up, but I need you guys' help. Consider becoming a Patreon too. Link in the description. And tune in. I'm gonna try to have live streams always at 6 p.m. my time, Central European time. That's like in the morning in the US on Saturdays. But I will have different streams around that. But that's gonna try to keep that as a base. So please tune in for all of that. Please help. Please support. Let's help each other. Let's uplift each other more, guys. Please subscribe for more content about fitness, fasting, losing weight, building muscle, self-improvement, mental health, stoicism, cool stuff like that. Okay, guys, I will see you later. Peace.